Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on your YouTube channel. What I have provided for you in today's video is 20 English words that if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is wonderful. Are you ready to have a look at these 20 words? Of course you are, which is why you're here watching this video. But before we continue with the rest of today's video, I kindly want you to like this video in support of my channel. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so yet. Turn on the notification bell not to miss any of my future videos. And leave some comments down below. Those comments mean the world to me. I'll be responding to your comments as soon as possible. Thank you guys. Now let's start reviewing these 20 words. So let's get started. The first word that if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is excellent is this word. The word that you can see here. Have you ever seen this word? What does it mean and how do we pronounce it? Most students pronounce this word incorrectly. They pronounce it ʻɪnfəməs. Infamous, but that's wrong. That's not the correct pronunciation. This word is pronounced ʻɪnfəməs. Infamous. 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 Yeah, you heard me right. Infamous. So we don't pronounce this word infamous, we pronounce it infamous. Infamous. Infamous is an adjective, and it actually means to be well known for something bad or evil, or to be well known for being bad or evil. So the word infamous. Let's have a look at an example in which this word is being used. This suburb of our city is infamous for illegal activities. This suburb of our city is infamous for illegal activities. This suburb of our city is infamous for illegal activities. So the next time you see this word, do not pronounce this word incorrectly by pronouncing it infamous. I know it's a combination of in and famous, but it's not pronounced infamous. It's pronounced infamous. 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 So the next time you see this word or want to use this word, make sure that you pronounce this word correctly. Alright, let's go and have a look at the second word that if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is wonderful, which is this word that you can see here. Have you ever seen it? What does it mean and how do we pronounce this word? Most students pronounce this word ʻɑːkʌɪv, which is completely wrong. This word is not pronounced archive. This word is pronounced archive, 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 archive. So the next time you see this word, don't pronounce it wrong or incorrectly. Pronounce it archive. This is the correct pronunciation of this word. Archive, archive. It's both a noun and a verb. But what does it mean? Have you ever wondered what this word means? Archive is a place where a large number of historical documents are stored. So this is the meaning of archive. Let me provide you with an example in which this word has been used. If you have a look at our archive, you will find amazing things. If you have a look at our archive, you will find amazing things. If you have a look at our archive, you will find amazing things, which means if you have a look at our archive, you will find wonderful things. You will find things that will amaze you, that will surprise you. Alright, the next word that if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is excellent is the following word. How do you pronounce this word? Have you ever seen it? What does it mean? How do you pronounce it? What is the correct pronunciation of this word? Most students pronounce this word ʻkrʊkɪd, mistakenly and incorrectly. This word is not pronounced ʻkrʊkɪd. The correct pronunciation of this word is ʻkrʊkɪd, 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 ʻkrʊkɪd. Yeah, you heard me right. Listen carefully. The correct pronunciation of this word is ʻkrʊkɪd, ʻkrʊkɪd. What does it mean? ʻkrʊkɪd is an adjective and has two meanings. The first meaning is when something is crooked, it is not a straight or it doesn't follow a straight line or path. It is curved or twisted. And the second meaning of the word crooked is dishonest. So when we describe someone as crooked, what we mean is that they are dishonest. They are not honest. Let me provide you with an example. People always laugh at her crooked nose. People always laugh at her crooked nose. People always laugh at her crooked nose, which means people always laugh at her because her nose is crooked. Her nose is not straight. Her nose is curved or crooked or twisted. All right, the next word that, if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is incredible, is the following word. Have you ever seen it? What does it mean? What is the correct pronunciation of this word? The students pronounce this word preparatory. Students don't really know how to pronounce this word when they see it because this word somehow does not trip up the tongue. It's really hard to pronounce, but the correct pronunciation of this word is preparatory. 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 So the correct pronunciation of this word is preparatory. Yeah, you heard me right. Listen carefully. Preparatory. Preparatory. What does it mean? Preparatory actually means something that is done to get ready for something. So when we say something is preparatory, it means something is actually what we do to get ready for something else, or something that we do to pave the way for something else, to make it possible for something else to happen. One example, we should take some preparatory steps towards our projects. We should take some preparatory steps towards our projects. We should take some preparatory steps towards our projects. Which means we need to take action with the purpose of doing things to get ready for our projects, or to make it possible for our projects to happen, or to pave the way for our projects to happen. So this word is pronounced preparatory. Preparatory. The next word that, if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is amazing, is this word. Have you ever seen it? How do you pronounce it? What is its meaning? How do you pronounce this word? I know you, I'm not sure, maybe you and so many other English learners out there pronounce this word salmon, which is the wrong pronunciation. We don't pronounce this word salmon. The pronunciation of this word is not salmon. It's spelled salmon, but the correct pronunciation of this word is salmon. 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 Yeah, you heard me right. This word is pronounced salmon. But what does it mean? Salmon is actually a type of fish that lives in rivers and also lays eggs in rivers, if I'm not mistaken, and is, a type of fish like other fishes living in water, in the sea. Yeah, so this word is pronounced salmon. Salmon. It's not Solomon, it's salmon. One example. Today I was in the market for some salmon. Today I was in the market for some salmon, which means today I wanted to buy some salmon, or I was trying to buy some salmon. All right, let's get to the next word that, if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is excellent, which is the word that you can see here. Have you ever seen this word? If so, what does it mean and how do you pronounce it? And if not, then you got to be waiting for me to tell you the correct pronunciation and what it means, right? So have you ever seen this word? How do you pronounce it? This word sounds a little bit confusing and complicated, right? It looks like a difficult word. The correct pronunciation of this word is rendezvous. 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 So do not pronounce this word rendezvous, rendezvous, or anything like that, or things along those lines. Those are incorrect pronunciations. The correct pronunciation of this word is rendezvous, rendezvous, rendezvous. But what does it mean? Rendezvous is a place where people usually meet each other. So when two people talk about their usual rendezvous, they're talking about the usual place that they usually get to see one another or meet each other or make a decision to meet each other. An example, our usual rendezvous is our favorite restaurant. Our usual rendezvous is our favorite restaurant. Our usual rendezvous is our favorite restaurant. All right, now let's move on to the next word that if you can pronounce correctly, your English is incredible, which is this word. Have you ever seen it? I think you've seen this word like a million times in your life, and you must have used this word too, but do you know its correct pronunciation? Like so many of my language learners, so many of my English students mispronounce this word and pronounce it incorrectly. Do not pronounce this word cupboard. This word is not pronounced cupboard. That's wrong. Cupboard is the wrong pronunciation of this word. The correct pronunciation is cupboard, 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 cupboard. Yeah, you heard me right. The correct pronunciation of this word is cupboard, cupboard, cupboard. So do not pronounce it wrong or incorrectly the next time. Pronounce it cupboard. That's the correct pronunciation. But what does it actually mean? A cupboard is a piece of furniture, usually with doors and shelves, used for storing books, clothes, and things, objects and items. Let me give you an example. Check the cupboard, you will find your keys there. Check the cupboard, you will find your keys there. Check the cupboard, you will find your keys there. So this word is pronounced cupboard. Do not pronounce this word cupboard. That is wrong. And now let's get to the next word that if you can pronounce correctly, your English is fantastic, which is this word that you can see here. What is the meaning of this word and how do you pronounce it? Have you ever seen it? How do you pronounce this word? Do you pronounce it Bouquet or anything else? The correct pronunciation of this word is bouquet, 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 bouquet. So this word is pronounced bouquet. The correct pronunciation of this word is bouquet. But what does it mean and where do we use it? How do we use this word? Bouquet actually means an arrangement of flowers or a bunch of flowers that we get to, I don't know, give to someone or to gift to someone. So bouquet means an arrangement of flowers. An example, I ordered a bouquet for your birthday party. I ordered a bouquet for your birthday party, which means I got a bunch of flowers, an arrangement of flowers for your birthday party. All right, moving on to the next word that if you can pronounce correctly, you're a past master at pronouncing every word in English, which is this word. Have you ever seen it? I think you've seen it, especially while watching TV or while reading newspapers. Have you ever seen this word? Yeah, this word is actually pronounced catastrophe, catastrophe, catastrophe. The correct pronunciation of this word is catastrophe, catastrophe, catastrophe. But what does it mean? All right, the word catastrophe is a noun and it refers to an unpleasant or terrible event that leads to, I don't know, someone's death or suffering or the destruction of something. An example, the recent explosion in the city center was a real catastrophe. The recent explosion in the city center was a real catastrophe, which means the recent explosion in the city center was a terrible event that resulted in the death of people or, I don't know, the suffering of people or the destruction of buildings or whatever. All right, now let's move on to the next word, which is this word. Have you seen it? Of course you have. On the internet, especially on YouTube, people talking about money and business. But how is this word pronounced? English learners and students always have difficulty pronouncing this word because of being a little bit long and also difficult to pronounce. The correct pronunciation of this word is entrepreneur, 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 Entrepreneur. But what does it mean? An entrepreneur is a person that, starts a business, runs a business, and takes risks and creates jobs for people, and sometimes makes a lot of money and sometimes makes a lot of loss, a lot of financial loss. So an entrepreneur is a businessman that starts a business and creates jobs for others, and most of the time becomes pretty successful and makes a lot of money. An example: everyone has dreams of becoming an entrepreneur. Everyone has dreams of becoming an entrepreneur. Alright, now let's proceed to the next word that if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is excellent, which is this word that you can see here. You must have seen this word too, especially while watching TV, while watching news on TV or on the internet. But how do you pronounce this word? The correct pronunciation of this word is casualty. 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 Yeah, listen carefully. Casualty. Yeah, casualty. This word is pronounced casualty. What does it mean? Casualty is a noun and refers to someone that gets killed or injured in an accident or war. So someone that gets killed or injured in an accident or a war is called a casualty. Road casualties have decreased since the new traffic rules have come into effect. Road casualties have decreased since the new traffic rules have come into effect. Alright, let's get to the next word, which is this word that you can see here. How do you pronounce this word? Chaotic? Chaotic? How do you pronounce it? No. Those two pronunciations were absolutely wrong. The correct pronunciation of this word is chaotic. 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 This word chaotic is an English adjective, but what does it mean? The adjective chaotic refers to a situation in which different things happen in a confusing way. So when in a situation different things happen in a confusing way, we can say that situation is chaotic. An example: the situation of our company is chaotic. Managers come and go. The situation of our company is chaotic. Managers come and go, which means things happening in our company are very confusing and we don't really know what's happening. No one can explain what is happening in our company. Managers come and go. So the word chaotic. Alright, let's get to the next word, which is this one. This is one of those difficult words that you've always had difficulty pronouncing, right? Yeah, so in a few seconds, I'll be telling you how to pronounce this word correctly. Alright, this word is pronounced criterion. 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 So the correct pronunciation is criterion. 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 It's a noun, and it refers to a standard that you use to judge something or make a decision about something. So criterion refers to a standard that we use to judge something or to make a decision about something. Keep in mind that the plural form of this word is not criterions. The plural form of this word is criteria. So the singular form is criterion. The plural form is criteria. Criteria. Criterion. Criteria. Criterion. Criteria. An example: does your company have any criterion for employing new people? Does your company have any criterion for employing new people? An example of criteria: you must meet certain criteria to be employed by our company. You must meet certain criteria to be employed by our company. You must meet certain criteria to be employed by our company. So, criterion and criteria. Alright, now let's get to the next word that if you can pronounce correctly, you're a past master at pronouncing words in English, which is this word. Have you ever seen it? What does it mean? It sounds a bit confusing. It looks confusing, right? This word is pronounced prerequisite. 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 What does it mean, and where do we use it? Prerequisite is a noun and refers to something that is necessary to exist before something else can happen. So prerequisite is actually something that paves the way for something else to happen, or is something that needs to exist, or is something that is necessary to exist for something else to be able to take place or happen. An example: this YouTube channel provides you with all the prerequisites that you need to improve your English. The next word that, if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is wonderful, is this word. Have you ever seen it? What does it mean? This word may sound familiar to you because you may have seen it somewhere, or you must have seen it somewhere, but how do you pronounce it? Okay, the correct pronunciation of this word is pharmaceutical, 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 pharmaceutical. Yeah, you heard me right. Pharmaceutical. This word is an English adjective and refers to anything that relates to the production of drugs and medicines. So the word pharmaceutical is related to the medicine or drug industries, or anything that is related to the production of drugs and medicines. An example: the pharmaceutical industries need more investments. The pharmaceutical industries need more investments, which means the industries that are related to the production of medicines and drugs need more investments. All right, let's proceed to the next word that, if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is fantastic, which is this word. How do you pronounce this word? It's a bit of a crazy word, right? So how do you pronounce it? Whenever you have a headache, you actually use this drug in order to get rid of your headaches. But how do you pronounce it? The correct pronunciation is acetaminophen, acetaminophen. Yeah, you heard me right. Acetaminophen, acetaminophen. But what does it mean? Acetaminophen is a medicine or a type of drug that you use to get rid of your headaches. Every time you have a headache, or every time you've got a cold, you simply take one of these drugs or medicines to get rid of your headache or to get rid of your pain. So, acetaminophen. An example: every time I have a headache, I need to take some acetaminophen to feel better. Every time I have a headache, I need to take some acetaminophen to feel better. Every time I have a headache, I need to take some acetaminophen to feel better. Which means every time I have a headache, I need to take these medications, these acetaminophen, to feel better and get rid of my pain or get rid of my headaches. All right, we're getting to the next word that, if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is fantastic, which is this word. How do you pronounce it? Even the spelling of this word is confusing, let alone its pronunciation, right? But how do you pronounce this word? In a few seconds, I'll tell you what this word means, because many of you might be confused now and might not even know what this word means, let alone how it's pronounced. First of all, the correct pronunciation of this word is pseudonym, 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 pseudonym. But what does it mean? Pseudonym is a noun and refers to an invented name used by artists or writers or journalists instead of their real names. An example: he's known under the pseudonym Batman. He's known under the pseudonym Batman. He's known under the pseudonym Batman, which means people know this guy by the name of Batman. His real name is not Batman. His invented name is Batman. He always calls himself Batman, or he always uses this fake name or this unreal or this invented name to call himself. But his real name is not Batman, but he's known under the pseudonym Batman. All right, what about this word? How do you pronounce this word? You've seen this word, right? When you check, especially the weather, every time you want to see whether the weather is cold, whether the weather is warm, we have good weather, we have bad weather. You always go on the internet and you search, the results of, the service provided by this word to see what the weather is like. The correct pronunciation of this word is meteorology, 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 meteorology. Yeah, you heard me right, meteorology, meteorology. The correct pronunciation is meteorology. But what does it mean? Meteorology is a noun and refers to the science of studying the weather patterns or the weather changes. An example, she has always wanted to study meteorology. She has always wanted to study meteorology, which means she's always wanted to study the science of studying, the weather patterns or the weather changes. All right, let's get to the next word. The 19th word that if you can pronounce correctly, your English is fantastic, which is this word. How do you pronounce this word? The pronunciation of this word is so shocking that you will feel so confused that you don't really know what you should do, whether you should continue learning English or not. This word is pronounced kernel, kernel, kernel. I know, it's shocking, right? It comes as a big surprise to you that why is it spelled colonel, but it's pronounced kernel? I don't know. This is just a pronunciation rule. So we don't invent pronunciations. We don't determine how words are pronounced. We just need to learn, we just need to copy native speakers and pronounce words in the exact same way as they pronounce them. So it's not up to me to decide how this word should be pronounced, or it's not up to me to determine the pronunciation of different words. I can just tell you that this word is not pronounced in the same way as it's spelled. I know it's spelled colonel, but the correct pronunciation is kernel, 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 kernel. So do not pronounce this word colonel incorrectly. The correct pronunciation of this word is kernel, kernel. But what does it mean? Kernel is a noun and refers to someone who has a high rank in defense forces, in army, or in marines. Generally in the military forces, an officer of army or a military individual with a high rank in military forces. An example, do we remember the sacrifices of our colonels? 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 And finally, let's get to the 20th word of today's video that if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is wonderful, which is this word. How do you pronounce it? Do you pronounce it jenne? How do you pronounce it? Is it pronounced jenne? No, it's not. The correct pronunciation of this word is jean, 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 jean. But what does it mean? This word is a noun, and it refers to a part of your body that determines what you should look like, how you should look, or how you should grow, and determines everything in your body, all the physical activities. So the word gene. An example, the members of one family share the same genes. The members of one family share the same genes. The members of one family share the same genes. Alright guys, that's about all. In today's video, we reviewed 20 English words together that if you can pronounce correctly, your English pronunciation is fantastic. Now what I kindly want you to do is like this video. Now that you've come so far up to this point, please like this video if you enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a comment down below. I'll be back soon with another video.